Good morning, or I guess whatever time of day that you are watching this. Welcome, thanks for joining me. We are going to be doing a flexion-free Pilates workout. So just not doing any flexion or rounding of the spine. One little side note to that, I will still be cueing imprint and release, which is technically flexion. If you need to eliminate that and just stick with your neutral pelvis, feel free. Also, just because it's flexion free does not mean that it's not going to be a challenging workout that I have planned for you. And so as always, please listen to your body, take this as you need it, and just do what is best for you today. So let's get started. I'll have you lie on your back, knees bent, feet flat on the ground, about hip width apart, starting in that neutral pelvis, so just that little bit of a space between your low back and the mat. Nice and easy, no tension anywhere. Just taking a nice deep breath to get started. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling out the mouth. And just keep that going. Nice deep inhales, really opening through the sides of the ribs, expanding three-dimensionally. Exhaling through the mouth. Keeping the head heavy, neck soft, upper body relaxed. Inhale. As you exhale, maybe starting to connect with that deep core, little lift through the pelvic floor, wrapping around of those deep abdominal muscles. One more, just breathing here. Inhale. And full exhale. Moving into imprint and release. Inhale in your neutral. And then as you exhale, this time just rocking the pelvis back, gently pressing the low back into the mat. Inhale, you'll come back to that neutral spine. And then exhale, rocking back, just opening through the front of the hips. And release. Trying to keep your glutes out of it, so it should be really low effort to start here. And release. Exhale, imprint. Let it go. Last one with just the imprint and release. Exhale to imprint. Inhale to neutral. Taking that into a hip roll. Inhale. Exhale, starting with that same imprint, and then continue to peel the spine off of the mat, lifting the hips high, pausing at the top, and then rolling back down. All the way back through that imprint, if you're taking it, releasing to neutral. Inhale. Exhale to roll up. Reaching the knees forward, lengthening the front of the thighs and hips, and then releasing back down. Good, inhale. Exhale to roll up. The glutes should start activating now as we're getting into a little bit bigger motion. Release. Any discomfort in the low back, just don't take it quite so high. Inhale. Last time here, rolling up. Reach the knees forward, find that length, squeeze the glutes behind you, and then release all the way back down to your neutral pelvis. So again, that little space, that normal curve through your low back should be there. Keep the pelvis where it's at now, taking just some arm circles. Inhale, lift the arms up and overhead. Exhale to sweep around. Inhale to lift. Watch that you're not letting the ribs splay as the arms come overhead. Keep the low rib cage planted down to your mat. Inhale, lift. That may mean that your arms don't get all the way to the floor. That's okay. Using a little bit of abdominal connection to just separate the arm movement from the torso. Last one this way. And then just reverse that circle. Inhale, opening out to the side and up. Exhale down, finding that nice expansion, taking up space. And release. Still connecting with that breath. Inhale as you open. Exhale, lower. Last one here, opening out. And then just release the arms all the way back down to the sides. If you'd like, take a little imprint to help stabilize the low back and core. Keep that there. Now lift one leg at a time up to tabletop. So the knees are right over the hips, shins are more or less parallel to the ground. Taking some toe taps here. On your exhale, tap one toe back to the mat. Inhale, return to tabletop. Other side, tap it down. Inhale up. Exhale to tap. Inhale, lift. Exhale, tap. You can modify the challenge by how close or far away you tap the toe to the ground. So in closer to your body is going to be a little easier. Further away is going to be more load for the core. Wherever you're taking it, make sure that you can keep the pelvis and low back perfectly still. So you'll feel the abdominals have to engage to control that motion. Keeping the upper body soft. I'm noticing that I'm getting a little tense through the neck and shoulders. If you are too, stop it. Good. Let's do one more each side. Exhale as you tap down. Inhale, lift. Exhale to tap. And lift, and then with the control, lowering one foot at a time back to the ground. Releasing that imprint if you had it. And then just let the knees, nice and easy, sway side to side. Gentle rotation. You can take this nice and small, or a little bit larger, whatever's feeling good. And then roll all the way onto one side, knees bent up to your chest, head in line with the body for spinal rotation, more the upper body rotating now. So arm reaches in front of you. Inhale, lift it up to the sky. Exhale to twist, looking away from you, or to the opposite side, reaching back up, and return. Inhale, lift. Eyes follow the hand. Exhale to rotate. Hold it for an inhale. Exhale returns you all the way back down. Good. Inhale, lift. Arm stays in line with the body. The whole upper spine twists to open. Inhale, breathing into the side body. Exhale, return. Last one this side. Inhale, lift. Exhale to open. Pausing for an inhale. And release. Good. Go ahead and roll to the other side. I'm going to flip over here. And same thing, other way. Knees up to the chest, head in line with the body. Top arm reaches forward. Inhale, lifts up to the sky. Exhale to twist. Inhale to stay. And exhale, release. Good, nice and easy. Warming up the body. Inhale, lift. Exhale to rotate. Inhale. And release. Head is just staying heavy into the mat or your arm. Lifting it up. So it's rolling along for the ride. Big breath in here. And release. Last time. Inhale, lift. Exhale to rotate. Inhale, stay. And return all the way back. Good. Keep on rolling onto your bellies now. Keeping the pubic bone pressed gently into the mat so you have a little bit of core activation here. Your legs can be hip width apart or zip together behind you. And then let's start with the arms just down by the sides here. Your forehead can be rested on the mat or slightly hovered. Just taking a couple shoulder shrugs here. So I want you to find the full range of motion as far up to your shoulder or to your ears your shoulders can get. And then drop the fingertips down towards the heels. Do that a couple times. Lift up. Drop down. Last one, all the way up, as high as you can go. Now just come halfway down. That's the height that I want your shoulders to be. We're gonna be going forward and back, but I don't want them pulled too far down or all the way up into your ears. So find that middle ground. Relax the shoulders forward towards your mat, taking breaststroke prep here. So keep the low abs engaged. Now, roll your shoulders open away from the mat, squeeze the palms firmly into the thighs, and then lift just in the upper spine. Pause at the top here, and then release all the way back down. Shoulders can roll forward again. Inhale, set those shoulders, squeeze the hands into the legs, lift up. Inhale to pause, and release. You can notice it's a pretty small motion here. I don't want it going into your low back at all. Inhale, prepare, set the shoulders. Exhale to lift. Effort should be in the upper spine. Inhale to stay. And release. One more like this. Inhale, set. Exhale to lift. Nice and long through the body. And then release it back down. Good. Taking a little variation, hands will come underneath the forehead now. Shoulders are still in that neutral ground. Inhale, prepare, engaging the lower abdominals. Exhale, come to a hover, hands and head right off of the mat. Stay for an inhale, and release back down on your exhale. Inhale. Exhale, lifting off. Reaching head one way, toes the other way. And release. 2 more like this. Inhale. Exhale to hover. Still working those upper back muscles. And release. Last one. Inhale. Exhale, float off. Pause at the top. And release. Good. Hands come underneath the shoulders. Just press yourself up to a hands and knees position here. This is one part in the workout that I will be going into some spinal flexion, but it's unloaded. That being said, if you're really trying to avoid all spinal flexion, you can just take half of this motion. So we're going to be doing a cat-cow. If you are taking that flexion motion, you'll start by rounding up through the spine and then releasing back out, finding a little lift. If you're not, you can just take that extension where I'm at now and come through middle. Otherwise, all the way through that range of motion, flexion, and then lifting off, finding a little extension. Good. Exhale through the rounding, hollowing out those abdominals. Inhale to lift. Couple more here, rolling up, articulating through the spine, and lift. Last round here, roll it up. Really find a little stretch through the upper back, mid-back. Lengthen out. And then come to neutral. So head is reaching one way, tail the other. Nice long line there. Opposite arm and leg reaching here. Inhale to prepare, set the core. Exhale, reach one arm and the opposite leg. And then return back to middle, other side. Reach it out. And lower. Good, keep going here. A couple things to check in with as you're doing this. Really nothing in your torso should be moving at all. So as you lift, I don't want to see an arch more than those normal curves through your spine. I would like the pelvis to stay nice and level, so you're not lifting one side or the other. And also don't want to see a lot of sway side to side. So everything should stay right in the middle, arm and leg, just finding that reach, lengthening away from each other. Not about the height here, I'd rather have it just long and active instead of reaching any specific height. Excellent, make sure you're still breathing as well. As things get a little harder, we tend to hold our breath. One more each way. And last side. Good. All right, make your way to a seated position next. Legs can be out in front of you, about mat width apart, or crossed. You can sit up on something, whatever is comfortable for you. Taking a bit more rotation here. Arms will open out to the side. Watch that your rib cage isn't popping out in front of you. Keep that nice and easy in the front. Arms are open, legs are stable. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, rotate to one side. 1, 2, 3. Inhale, come back through middle. Other way. Exhale. Inhale through center. Exhale, rotate. 2, 3. Middle, other side. Twist. 2, 3. And center. Legs should not be going back and forth. Make that twist happen from the body only, from the abdominals. And think of growing taller and taller each time you twist. 1, 2, 3. Last time. And center. All right, kicking up the challenge level a little bit. If it's comfortable, you can bend the knees in front of you. Find a nice neutral spine all the way stacked tall up on top of those sits bones. You are welcome to stay completely vertical, or option, to just lean it back, so you're keeping that neutral spine and just tipping and hinging back from the hips, not rounding here. Just to that point where you get a little extra abdominal engagement. Then wherever you're at, your arms will start in front of you and open to a diagonal, one up, one down. Come back through middle. Other side, open and center. Again, watch that you're not popping the rib cage as you do the arm movement, but just expanding across the chest, keeping everything else still. Inhale, middle. Exhale. And inhale. You might notice that even as the arms reach, doesn't seem like a lot, but it really ramps up the abdominal challenge there. Works those obliques a little bit stronger. You can always eliminate the arms or again come out of that hinge. One more each way. Last time. And then coming on up to sitting. Okay. Roll onto your side and down, back onto your back. Moving into even more abs here, all the fun. Head will stay down. Option to stay in your neutral pelvis, or if you need a little bit more support, rocking back through that imprint. Upper body's gonna stay relaxed. That's the goal anyway. Lift one leg at a time to your tabletop. Arms can be down by your sides or checking in with your pelvis if you need to. We'll start with single leg stretch here. So just one leg reaches out and switch and switch. One's coming into that tabletop. The other is really reaching with effort out. So that quad should be tight and active as you reach out. Inhale as they pass through middle. Exhale on the position. Ways to modify this, you can always take the legs even higher. That'll take a little load off of the abs, or reaching lower with that bent knee stopping right above the hip instead of over the body. Take what's working for you. See if you can control the upper body, and by that I mean just let it relax, let it be heavy into the mat, make sure you're not scrunching. And then abdominal should be working a lot so that your back and pelvis are not moving at all. All right, now that I've talked your ear off, one more each way. Take a little pause, bring it to middle. All right, now changing that into a double leg stretch. So zip the knees and ankles together, starting in that tabletop position. Everything else through pelvis and up is the same. This time, reaching both legs together. Exhale out. Inhale back to tabletop. Same thing, reach it high if you need to. I'm not going very low today. And back in. If you're able to control it and breathe and all of that, reach a little lower. Whatever's working for you. The benefit of doing these online or videos at home, you don't have to compare yourself with the person next to you. Just listen to your own body. Exhale out. Inhale, bend. One more time here. Exhale, reach. And bend. Great. Now coming into some inner thigh work. So lift the legs straight up over the hips. You can keep a little soft bend in the knees if you need to. If you have tight hamstrings or if you're feeling like there's some pull going on. And then rotate from the hips. You're an external rotation. Heels will be together, toes apart. And then you're gonna open the legs into a V. Squeeze them together, beat 1, 2, 3, and open again. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, nice, slow, controlled open. And 1, 2, 3, open. Good. Trying to keep equally weighted through left and right sides of the pelvis. And using those inner thighs quickly on the way up, controlling the lowering back out. Inhale, open. Exhale. Open. And squeeze. 2, 3, open. 2 more. 1, 2, 3, open. Last time. Open. And returning back in. Good. All right. Just place the feet back down to the mat. Back to where we started. Knees bent, feet flat on the ground, hip width apart. And I'd like you to be in a neutral pelvis here, if that's comfortable. Arms down by the sides, shoulders dropped open, nice and open across the chest. Taking a hip lift or a bridge lift here. So keeping that neutral spine throughout this exercise. On your exhale, activate the glutes to lift on up. And then inhale, pelvis comes right back down. So you're hinging with the hips instead of rolling through the spine here. Exhale, lift. And inhale, release. Exhale, lift. Still finding that length through the front of the thighs each and every time that you lift. And there should be no feeling of compression or discomfort through the low back. Keep it a little bit lower, or maybe even find that little bit of an imprint if you do feel some strain through the low back. All of the work should be through the booty, through those glutes. 2 more just like this. This is your home base. Feel free to always just stop here and continue with this. It's a great exercise all on its own. But I will give you some more options. So if you're ready for the next level, come on up to that bridge lift, hold there, keep the pelvis where it's at, and just march one leg up to tabletop. Lower it back down to the mat, other side. And down. You'll notice I naturally just put my hands on top of my hips so that I can do a little self-check to make sure that my pelvis isn't moving as I do this march. You're also welcome to keep the arms down by your sides though. Watching that you're not, again, shifting, dropping, doing anything goofy through the hips and pelvis, and trying to keep that overall height up too. So lots of burn should be happening through your backside right now, through those glutes. And not much should be happening through the neck and shoulders. Keep them soft. One more each way like this. Really rooting through the heel of the standing leg, and then lower back down. Okay, this is option number 2. If that was plenty, stick with that. Or if you're like, okay, I've had enough, go back to just the both legs lower down, lifting and lowering into your bridge. Option number 3, let's do it. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, lift up to that bridge. Hips stay level. Inhale, you'll reach one leg all the way up to the sky. That straight leg will lower down for 1, just to the opposite thigh. Lift it up. 2 more like that. Lower and lift. 3rd time, lower, lift, bend the knee, foot comes down, and lower the hips. Other side, inhale. Exhale to lift up. Inhale, reach. Lower for 1, and lift. 2, and lift. 3, lift, bend the knee, foot comes down, hips lower. 1 more each way, inhale. Exhale to rise up. Inhale, lengthen, and lower for 1. And up. 2. And up. Hips shouldn't be moving. 3. Lift, bend the knee, foot comes down. Release the hips. Last round. Inhale. Exhale, lift. And reach the leg nice and long. Lower for 1. And lift. 2. And lift. 3. Lift, bend the knee, foot comes down. And finally, hips lower. Awesome work. Okay. Roll on over to your side. Got my cheat sheet here, as always. Bend the knees, and then you can rest your head on your arm if that's comfortable. Top hand can be on the mat for some stability, or up on your hip if you're testing your core strength and stability there. The top leg is going to reach out long, so it should be in line with the hip joint, not dropped down, not way up here, just like you were standing in a weird way. If you were upright, it should be right underneath your hip. Okay, knee and toes should be pointed straight forward, and then just bend and reach out. Trying to keep hip, knee, and ankle all lined up throughout that exercise. So the knee will bend up towards the chest just a little bit, and then as you reach, really push back so you get a little bit of that glute turning on behind you. Okay, a few more here. This is, again, option number 1. I'll take you through a couple more levels of challenge, but you should already notice some work through that side seat. Really important stabilizer muscles for our hip. Okay, let's take it to option number 2. Just come on up to the forearm. Watch that this isn't collapsing down, but really staying lifted through that side body. And then we'll do the same thing here, adding an arm for a little bonus option if you like. You'll bend in, and then everything reaches away. Bend and reach. Good. Shoulders are squared off to the front as well as the hips. And then keeping that knee and ankle all in line. Option number 3, if I can do it, same thing happens with the top arm and leg. You'll just come up, not on that part, so you'll bend in just the same. As everything reaches, you'll lift the bottom hip off of the mat as well, and then it taps back down as everything bends in. Reach it out. Inhale, rest. Exhale, reach and lift. And bend. Reach. Bend. And reach. 2 more. Now both hips should be working, that lower one and the top one, if you're taking this option. I already lost count. I can't even count to 2 these days, but let's call that good and switch to the other side. All right, starting back from square one, resting all the way down. Top hand either on your hip or in front of you on the mat. Top leg lifted to hip height, and then just bending and reaching. Bend and reach. Good time to check in. Those hips should be stacked, one right on the next. Feeling a little work here because that hip was already working on the first side, especially if you took that final third option. Make sure you're still breathing here. Last one like this. Option number 2, if you're taking it, coming on to that forearm, lifting through that side waist, top arm reaches, bend, and reach. Watch that you're not collapsing here. Really push firmly into that arm. Abdominals are working to stabilize you. Those hips are burning. Mine are, at least. Gotta do a little bit more of these. One more like this. And then final option, let's do it. Pull it in. And then lift and reach through that bottom hip as well if you want. Bend and reach. Bend and reach. 3 more. 3 and reach. 2 and reach. Last time, you got this. Reach it out and lower on down. Whew. Nice work. Okay, moving on to your bellies. Once again, we're gonna do one more glute heavy one before we move on to some of our back work. So, if it's comfortable, one hand on the other, forehead can rest on the hands. Bring your knees to about mat width apart, so your feet are up off of the ground, and then click your heels together behind you. Your low belly should be lifted off of the mat so that you're in a little bit of a tilt just to help protect the low back so you're not collapsed there. And then to start with, just squeeze the heels together and release. So you probably can't see that I'm doing anything, but my glutes are turning on. Hopefully you feel yours as well. And the amount of effort that you're pushing your heels together should match how hard the glutes are working. And just watching that you're not compensating anywhere else. So keeping that little lift of the low belly, nice and long through the low back. Okay, here is your option 1. Like I said that before. And if you want to kick it up a notch here, you're going to do that same squeeze of the heels together, and then think of lifting the knees barely off of the mat, and then releasing everything. Exhale, squeeze and lift. And then lower back down. I don't want to take it super high because you can see how that goes into my low back. I want all the work to be coming from your glutes. Squeeze and lift. Even if your knees don't come off of the mat, just that idea of unweighting the thighs will kick up the challenge a little bit for you. Squeeze and lift. and release. 2 more. Exhale, squeeze, lift, and lower. Last time, squeeze and lift, and release. Whew, okay. Glutes get a break. Extend those legs out. They can stay about mat width apart, and externally rotated if that's comfortable. Hands are going to go underneath your shoulders. We'll take it to a breaststroke now. So same setup, that little bit of a, almost thinking of tilting so you get that core connection. Pubic bone is pressing down into the mat. Hands will start just underneath the shoulders. Back of the neck stays long throughout this exercise. All right, find just a little bit of a hover of the upper body, so hands and head off of the mat. On your exhale, you're just gonna dive the arms forward. Inhale, arms will circle around, and your upper chest lifts off of the mat. Notice that my neck is still long, not up like this. Okay, do that again. Exhale, reach forward. Inhale up. So the breathing is just like if you were diving into a pool. Exhale, coming up for air, circle and lift. Keep going. Exhale, reach. Inhale, lift. That work should be in the upper back, not in the low back. However, the legs are reaching long away from you, so they're not just floppy there, they're reaching and active. Inhale, lift. 2 more. Exhale, reach. And lift. And last time. And lift. And lower down. Awesome. Come on up to your hands and knees once again. We are in the final stretch, I promise. You're doing awesome, I know it, even though I can't see you. Okay, let's start here with a little bit of a knee hover. So bend the toes, I guess curl the toes underneath you, keeping a nice and neutral spine and then nice and firm through the upper body. If this is not working for your wrists or anything like that, feel free to come down to the forearms as well. I'll start here. So, knees are right underneath the hips to start. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, just float the knees barely off of the mat, just so I can slide like a piece of paper underneath. And then release back down. Inhale. Exhale. Float off. Make sure that the head is staying up in line with the body. And release. Inhale. Exhale, lift. Good. As an option, I'll walk you through a little bit harder version. Stick with what we were just doing. If you don't want to come with me, that is fine. Inhale. Exhale, float the knees. Pause for an inhale. This time, lift 1 foot off of the mat. Lower it back down. Other side lifts. And lower the knees. Good. Inhale. Float off. 1 foot hovers. Release. Other side. Release. And lower back down. 1 more like that. Inhale. Exhale, lift off. 1 foot comes up and lowers. Switch and lower and release. Okay, let's scoot forward. This next variation, your shoulders will stay stacked over the wrists or elbows if you're down in your forearms. Just scoot the knees back a little bit so you're a little bit more extended through the hip joints. We'll just take the hover from here. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, float the knees. Inhale to stay. And then release. Same thing, inhale. Lift off. You should just notice a slight difference in where the work is. Still a lot in the abs and arms, but just slightly different location. Inhale. Last one here. Stay at the top. Keep breathing. And let it go. All right. 1 more variation. Scoot those knees back a little bit further. Keep the elbows, the shoulders over the wrists or the elbows if you're on your forearms. Feel free to switch if you need to. We'll take it into a full plank. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, straighten the knees completely. 1 long line, head to toes. Breathe into it. And then release the knees. 2 more like that. Inhale. Exhale, full plank. Inhale to stay. And release. Last one, tiny bit longer hold, inhale. Exhale, lift up. Full breath, inhale. And exhale. I don't know if you can see that I am shaking. One more breath here, inhale. And lower the knees. Good work. Okay, shake out the wrists if you need to. Roll them around. My wrists have had enough. If you want to stay up on your hands for this next part, feel free. I'm going to go down to my forearms. We're going back into some glute work and core and all of that. So set up, you can either be in that tabletop position, right, shoulders over wrists, hips over knees, or join me down here if your wrists are tired as well. Okay, wherever you're at, watch that that head isn't slumping, nice and in line with the body. Take your right toes, reach them out long, and then lift and lower from here. So everything is stable through the low back and pelvis. Inhale, lift up, and then just tap back down. Lift and tap, lift. So your glute is the primary mover here of that right side if you're on your right leg. Watch that your left hip is staying over the left knee as much as possible instead of sliding over too far. Two more just here. And then on this next one, lift up, keep it up. And then take that leg, open out to the side, to your right, and then back to midline. Exhale, open. Inhale, center. Open. I'm sweating. It's good. Good way to start the day. Two more here. Open and middle. Last one. And middle. Keep that leg out. Take a break if you need to. Otherwise, just bend at the knee so your foot is now up towards the sky, like you're standing on the ceiling. Little pulses here from the glute. Pulse it up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 more. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Let's do it all again on the other side. So find your good foundation, nice and strong. Left leg now, or other leg, if you already did your left, straightens out behind you. Starting by just lifting and lowering. Up and tap. Up. So again, really watching that it's the glute that's moving you. I'll show you a bad one here. If you lift, you can get it really high, but that is going into your low back. So if you're doing it properly, it should really be isolated to the base of the seat. You may also feel a gentle little stretch through the front of the hip as you lift. Two more here. And then keep it up on this last one. Open out to the side, out to the left, and center. This is where it's really tempting to shift your body the opposite way to help counteract. But if you don't, you'll get even better work through the core. This really is a full body exercise here. A few more, let's go 3. And 2. And 1. Bring it back in line with the body. Bend that knee, foot up to the sky. Pulse it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Take a little break. We've got one more working posture because I know some of you out there really love push-ups. Not me, but I should do them. So here we go. We're gonna do some push-ups and then we'll stretch it out. I will be taking my push-ups from my knees. Find whatever place works for you. So if you have been working out forever and you know your form is good, you can do it from your toes. If you have not been at push-ups for a while, even find a wall. You can just practice them at the wall, or again, join me on your knees. Form is most important though, of course. So here we go. Setting up, hands will be right underneath your shoulders. And then wherever you're taking it, find a nice long line. So we did planks just a few exercises ago. That is the form I want you to maintain the whole time. I don't want to see the head trying to do your push-up for you, little chicken neck, or really collapsing through the shoulders or the back. Keep that nice and solid. All of the work is through your arms. Okay, Pilates push-up. You're going to go down 1, little further 2, little further 3. Big exhale as you push all the way back up. Inhale down 1, 2, 3. Press it up. Down. 2, 3. Press it up. 2 more. Down. 2, 3. Press last time. Down. 2, 3. Press it up. Awesome work. Stretch out those hands, interlace the fingers. Just press the palms away from you. And then flip. Press the other way. Good. Just take a quick chest opener so fingers can interlace behind you or keep them open as a cape. And just lift the heart up. All the hard part is done. We made it. Okay. A couple stretches just for the hips, side body, all of that. You are almost there. Grab onto something if you need to. Find a tall kneeling position here. So 1 foot in front of you, 1 knee down. You can also take this in standing. It would just look like this. Hips are going to be pointed straight forward. So if you had headlights on those 2 front hip point bones, will be pointed straight ahead. Little tuck under, and then from there, you'll just shift slightly forward. So not all the way. Again, it's not for the back. It's for the hip flexor. So whichever leg is down or behind you, that's where the main stretch should be felt, in the front of that hip. So just shifting forward enough until you get that pull right there. Settle into it. If you like, you can reach the same arm up as the leg that you're stretching. Really find length, fingertips all the way down to that knee. Even maybe add a side bend towards the front leg. Breathing into it. Coming back up. That top hand can rest on your front knee now. Take a twist open. Eyes up on the horizon. Growing tall through your body. Good, come back through middle, switch it out, other side. Again, square off those hips, both hips pointed forward, slight tilt underneath, and shifting just until you get a stretch right through the front of that hip. Nice and tall, lengthen through the spine. Option to take that same arm as back leg up to the sky. Really feel that pull, fingertip all the way down, all the way through that side body. Maybe adding a little lean towards the front knee, intensifying that stretch. Settling back down, letting the heart rate come down again. Good, back to vertical, top hand to front knee, twist open to the side. Grow taller instead of thinking of pulling yourself around. Really emphasize that length first and foremost. Good, coming back through middle. And just make your way to a nice comfortable seated position. Couple side body leans here, just lifting up. Stretching over to the side. Back up. Arm comes down, other way, lift, and over, lift, 1 more each way. And last side, inhale, lift, exhale, lean, reaching up and down. Let's take a few breaths together. Inhale, big sweep of the arms up. Exhale, just let it go. 2 more like that. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Last time, inhale, lifting up. Gathering all that good energy of the class today. Hands come together and down to your heart. Thank you all for being here with me. I enjoyed it. I hope you did too. Have a great day.